choose Renee and today I'm going to be ranking horse features with you. So probably 15 of them to rank, so it won't take me long and also I'm going to put them into different iron cores for you guys as well. But I haven't done one for a while, so it was 10 days since I did my last one, so hopefully you guys already watched that before watching this video, so let's get to it, shall we? Okay, so our first one is Elise, who's a snooty villager. Well, I was not sort of sure what core I was going to go with her, but it was kind of sort of obvious that I had to go with tropical core because of her design, so it put me in that sort of perspective. But I know for sure she's not like the most popular villager that everyone will be looking for when it comes to horses, so that's why I'm giving her a 5 out of 10 because she isn't the popularist, is she, that much, and plus she hasn't got much of fans out there. That's why I'm giving her a 5 out of 10 because I don't know what's wrong with her these days, but I feel like she needs more improvement, and plus it'd be nice if everyone could have her on their islands when it comes to tropical core, for example. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So my next villager is Buck, who's a jock villager. Well, I don't see him that often, but I feel like he'll probably just fit 2 cores at once, maybe Farm Core and Spring Core, because of the design. It sort of puts me in that sort of pursuit, and plus, if you think about Buck, you know his name, or you could also try and put Starbucks near him to make it look like, Starbucks. So again, Buck could be like a representative for Starbucks, for example. But I know he's not really that popular when it comes to fans these days, but that's why I've given him a 6 out of 10. So yeah, he's not too bad, but I know not all of you are a big fan of Buck. But if you guys are a big fan of Buck, just go high. If you're not, just go low. I don't mind. So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Cleo. She's a snooty villager. Well, I feel like she's more of a sort of elegant sort of horse. That's why I put her in elegant core. And plus, she's kind of like a city core villager too. But I can also argue she could be a fairy core villager if you're looking for a fairy core villager like her because of her eyes. It sort of puts you in the fairy core sort of perspective in that. And plus the design's very iconic, very elegant, and she really stands her out very well. But sometimes if you're looking at the snooties, sometimes maybe not all of them look like the same. Some of them might be too extreme from the others, or ones that look more cuter than others, you know what I mean? Just looking at on the spectrum of the snooties, if one of them looks better than the other, then you know for sure how to compare them. But I had to give Cleo an 8 because her design's very good and all that stuff, but I'm just thinking to myself, if she got a higher than 8 I wouldn't mind, but I thought giving her an 8 out of 10 would probably be a good decision, but it's still high, isn't it, in a way? It's sort of a good pursuit for her, which will probably stand for her anyway. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Clyde, who's a laser villager. Well, I don't know why, but he's definitely one of the least popular horses there is in the game, and plus he's kind of a bit, off-putting for some of you as well, so it makes sense why he's least popular. But if you guys just been a core, I think Farm Core fit him on the good side on that sort of thing, but Golf Core, because you don't like the look of his eyes, it actually makes sense if you're thinking about it in that sort of thing. But the thing is, I don't really like him that very much because of the way he sort of looks. It must put you all off a little bit, so that's why I'm giving him a 1 out of 10, because if he decided didn't look like that, I would have wanted Clyde, but I'm not a big Clyde fan by most of you. But if you guys are a big Clyde fan, just go high. But if you're not, just go low. It doesn't matter, to be honest. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Colton, who's a snug villager. Well, as you can probably see, I've put him in fairy core and kid core because of the way he sort of looks. But if you're looking at fairy core, he looks like a Pegasus, so that gives you it sort of screams fairy core vibes in particular. But I couldn't think of anything else for him because I know his Greek style house throws everybody off, and I feel like if you could house remodel it, if you had Harry in Paradise example, it would look much better. You could make it all bluish and all that stuff. But if you're looking at kid core, as you can probably see as his cape, it sort of puts you in kid core vibes, so he could be a kid core villager, then he could change his house and to make it into the colours of the rainbow, etc. You you could do a lot of things with Colton. But the problem is that I know what I've got to give him is a 9 out of 10 because his design really is very fitting, it's very cool, and plus Colton is definitely a good villager to have on your eye, and that's why I give him a 9 out of 10 because he's definitely someone I wanted to have on my eye, but I thought, nah, I didn't get a chance to think about him, but Colton's not too bad by any chance anyway. But if you guys do want to give him a high or a low, don't matter, to be honest. But let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Ed, who's a smug villager. Well, I don't know how many smugs there are, but I think there's only 3 smug villagers in total, just to make sure of that. And plus, he's kind of a funny sort of villager though, because you guys think to yourself, well, he looks kind of similar to, Julian because of his design. Well, it is kind of true, because they both look exactly the same by any means, but he's kind of funny, isn't he, Ed in particular? But he's more of a cool dude. He's not one of those, unicorns and think he can, take over the world, you know what I mean? He's not like, Julian, but I wonder if they're both brothers, because they both scream different vibes, don't they? Because I've given him the elegant city core vibe because his house is quite, dark. But again, it could give you elegance, and he might be more of a city core sort of dude, and plus he might be a cool dude, but you never know. But he's not one of everyone's sort of taste, isn't he? But I've given him a 7 out of 10 because I had to be generous on Ed, to be honest, because I feel like Ed's the horse that I'll be going with, because he's not too bad, and I think he needs more fans out there. Wouldn't you guys agree? But if you guys want to go high because you like Ed, just go high. But if you don't, just go low. I don't mind. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Elmer, who's a lazy villager. Well, the thing is, I was kind of after him for Sunflower for some reason because of the way he sort of looked, and I thought him and Winnie could be girlfriend and boyfriend and that stuff. Well, that's why I wanted them both to be together, but unfortunately I had to change my mind at the last second because I was expecting a horse on my villager hunt, but then I got Stella instead, so what were the odds? But again, I would have loved to have, Elmer on Sunflower. He would literally fit in the way because he looks like a horse and he looks kind of sweet, and I know that he needs some more fans out there. But I bet there are a lot of fans out there for Elmer, but we don't know, do we? But he sort of fits farmcore, so that's why I've sort of suggested that up the top for you guys so you can see. And plus, I also had to give him a 6 out of 10 because I know he's not that popular, but it'd be nice to have more fans out there because I think his catchphrase tenderfoot sounds a bit, sort of off the edge, but again, he might mean it in a good way, not in a bad way, you know what I mean? So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Julian, who's a smug villager. Well, he kind of looks like a unicorn by no means. I know there are a lot of fans for Julian for some reason, you know what I mean? Maybe because Ed's a bit a bit off then maybe than Julian, but they're both like brothers. That's why I was thinking they both might be related because the way the design sort of turns out, or Julian has a different form of himself, so he turns into Ed. Well, you can think of different scenarios, but I wouldn't suggest that one in particular. It could be a myth, couldn't it? But again, he sort of gives me fairy core vibes because I sort of remember doing, I was doing the Pagan Bay Island tour, actual video, and I was talking about Julian, that he'd make the perfect fairy core villager. Well, he definitely is, and that's why I've given him a 10 out of 10 because, you know what I mean, he's so popular, he's so cool, and he's a unicorn, so what gives? He has to be, he's definitely getting a 10 out of 10 from me today, you know what I mean? So let's get to the next one, shall we? Okay, so our next villager is Paddy, who's a lazy villager. Well, I don't know how many lazy villagers there are in the whole species, but there's pretty a lot, isn't there? But I've also got to say is that I was sort of thinking, what actual core would he fit in? Well, jungle core is the one that I'll probably recommend because he could even fit cottage core if you were looking at it as well. But the thing is, there are actually a few fans of Paddy in particular, so I'm kind of happy that Paddy's got a few fans out there for once. So yeah, I'm kind of happy for him. But also, he's definitely iconic than most of them as well because I don't know what he assembles, which puts me a little bit in position. What does he assemble? I don't know what he assembles, but if you guys will find out what Paddy assembles, let me know down in the comments, because that'd be nice. But I had to give him a 6 out of 10. I was a bit, thinking to myself, I should give him a 7 or something, but I didn't know what to give him in the end because Paddy, he's a hard one for me to rank sometimes, but you never know with Paddy, do you? So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Peaches, who's a normal villager. Well, I don't know why she's the only normal villager in this species, but I want to find out soon enough after this video, But the thing is, I think she sort of screams fairy core vibes a little bit because she looks kind of pink and she looks different and she's got these like little funny like polka dots eyes or something like that. Well, I don't know what that sort of means, but it's kind of funny though. She kind of looks like Stitches because Stitches got exactly the same eyes, so you could refer her to Stitches a little bit. And plus, she looks more of a city core villager as well because I'm sort of suggesting about not just her old colour scheme. I'm just sort of looking at her sort of outfit as well, so that's why I combine them both together, you know, so that's why I was sort of thinking on that sort of half, to be honest. But I was also thinking to myself, what could I give her? Well, I had to give her an 8 out of 10 again because her design's like, you know, very fitting. It's definitely different from all the horses, and plus I think Peaches needs some more fans out there, and plus it's kind of funny how you can refer to different songs as well because of the name, like, you know, Peaches. It's kind of good, and she also, the name Peaches is sort of like a fruit, isn't it, in a way, so you know what I mean. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Renee, who's sisterly villager. Well, I don't know why she's the first, like, you know, sisterly villager in the horse villager species, but I could only think of one core, which would be city core, because when I remodelled her house, it sort of gave me like city core vibes because of the way she sort of looks, and plus she feels like more of a low-key sort of girl, and plus she's into like rocks, so I'm thinking if you're looking for like rock bands sort of like, you know, to like put a reference for city core, go for Renee, because she's better than the other Renee, I would say, because it's a rhino and now you've got a horse named Renee, so they're spelled slightly differently, but they're different, aren't they? But I have to give her a 10 out of 10 because she's one of my favourites. So I had a reason for that because Renee's definitely one of my favourites, and plus she is so cool. I just wish she never left my island, you know? So let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Rosco, who's a cranky villager. Well, the only core that I could go with was Goth core because of the way he sort of looks. He's like a bit of a, he's kind of like a dark horse, and he speaks like he speaks like a devil in your eyes, you know what I mean? I think Rosco gives you all that spooky vibe that you think to yourselves, I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of him or am I a big fan of him, you know what I mean? He gives you mixed like options, doesn't he, Rosco? I know there's a few fans of Rosco, so I'm pretty happy with that, but I wanted to give him a 4 out of 10 because he's not one of my favourites in particular, and plus I think his design's a bit, you know, too extreme, and plus I can understand that because it looks a bit weird for me to look at him in a weird way, you know, so that's why I'll give him a 4 out of 10 because I couldn't think of where he would fit with me, and plus if I had him on Ireland, I'm not sure if I'll be like, you know, scared to, you know, death with him or anything like that, you know what I mean? But although there's a lot of fans out there for Rosco, so I'm quite happy with that. As long as Rosco's got some love in the community, that's it. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So our next villager is Savannah, who's a normal villager. Well, the thing is, I think she'll fit jungle core the most other cores because of the way she sort of looks. She looks like a zebra, doesn't she? And I think you guys are thinking to yourselves, yeah, she's a zebra, she'll fit jungle core pretty nicely, and I think I'll definitely put her on the top of my villager hunting list, you know what I mean? That's what she's like. But I'm not sure what I've sort of given them, but I'm going to probably guess. So I'm going to probably guess maybe an 8 out of 10 because her design's like very, like, you know, it stands out. She looks like a zebra, and plus she'll just fit in like with jungle core like immediately. So if you look at the jungle core villagers, there might be 2 horses that might resemble it, so you can just go into that sort of more detail, you know. Let's get into the next one, shall we? So our last 2 villagers are Victoria and Winnie, who are both Paddy villagers. Well, I'm sort of thinking, well, for farm core you can go with Winnie, and if you're going for light city core you can go with Victoria. Well, the funny thing is I was not sort of thinking to myself ranking both of them at the same time, but I felt like, well, just to make it a bit shorter for you guys, why not just rank them both at the same time? But there's a lot of opinions I can say on both of them because I already have Winnie on my island, but I haven't got Victoria. But they both look so cool differently. Although you've got Victoria, who's a racing horse, and then you've got Winnie, who resembles Winnie the Pooh in a way. So you know what I mean? There's different references between them both. So that's why I'm giving them both 8 out of 10s because they're both, you know, they're both like sort of different. They're both like, you know, have different hobbies. One might have sporty, the other one might have nature or fashion, whatever. Both might have different hobbies as well, so you can compare them with both of them, to be honest. But if you guys are looking for like city cottages or farm cottage, you might have to look at all these horses in together to find out, you know what I mean? Let's get to the next part, shall we? Make sure to leave a like on this video, and if you're new to my channel and want to see more of my content, please subscribe, because the variety of content you might enjoy might involve Animal Crossing content or Metopia content. But at the moment I'm still doing Animal Crossing content because I feel like there's a lot of things that I've not actually done on my channel that I feel like I want to do more of when it comes to that sort of thing. But when it comes to like, maybe when it comes to probable content in the future, I don't know. It could be even future games in the future, who knows. But when it comes to that sort of part, I'll let you guys know in advance. And turn on notifications for other Animal Crossing and Metopia content from me. As well as stay bye from me, Renee, and I'll see you in the next one, so bye!